5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Okay, well, I gave you the weather report already, so now let's go. You know, that's how they broke the Ultra system. Oops, I'm in the wrong page. Okay, Alibaba on 11/11 did 38 billion. And a really interesting article from which-50.com. No idea what their big particular thing is, but I found a few happy articles, and so I've been going there a little more lately. I think I can see the comments. Somebody give me a comment. Let's see. We'll go down here. We'll go back to the regular because it's a little, oops, wrong one. Because it's a little more. No idea what. Oh, we got the sound. Yeah, I didn't get the sound on the other one. It's always an adventure. The tech here is, one of my professor friends said, I did online lectures and I had 6 people making sure everything went well. How many do you have? Yeah, okay. So, there's a little bit of hype around this 38 billion. Each year the Chinese sale dwarfs Cyber Monday and Black Friday, and this year, Cyber Monday and Black Friday are supposed to do 29 billion, and this did 38. Okay, great. What's the Chinese market, for heaven's sakes? Which is only like 50 times more people. Anyway, so it's not a big surprise, but I did want to check out global spending in general in retail, and it's it's 3.5 trillion, and a trillion is 1,000 billion. Okay, so 30 billion would be 1% of 3 trillion, as far as I understand it. Okay, so it's not like it's massive. An average day, 1% of global retail would be about, well, not 3%, it would be about 10 billion. Okay, so it's a good day. But there's a lot of hype around it too. And I try to give you these perspectives on the numbers. You got to have some perspective, right? 554,000 orders per second. Now that's big. I got to admit. We thought it was big. We were legendary big data guys back when we took on the Hudson Bay Company that did 20 billion transactions or orders in a month, in the month of December. So nobody could figure out how we were doing that on a PC. And so I gave talks a lot, and Borland came out. They couldn't figure it out either. None of our vendors, all of our vendors said it was impossible. But, time moves on. To really understand the customer, we brought our Chinese customer in-house, and that's really, really key to our strategy. Okay, so a lot of Australian and New Zealand vendors are participating in this, and they have brought in sort of Chinese consultants and Chinese management teams and consumers and done focus groups and things. One of the things that I thought was interesting was Jessica Rudd, she's founder of Jessica's Suitcase, which is one of the participants from Australia, said a lot more participation in brick and mortar stores. Okay? So don't think this is all e-commerce. I mean, it's e-commerce in the sense of how we place the order. But don't confuse how you place the order with some big cosmic Neoplatonist value of the virtual world over the physical world. People still like shopping, and shoppers want bargains. Those are the two big takeaways. It's a big bargain day. Is there any margin in it? Well, time will tell. Are any of these repeat customers? Maybe not. One of the things we've consistently seen now is when our catalog clients go and acquire customers via Amazon, that they aren't necessarily the quality, or social media or influencer media. They're not necessarily the quality of their previous lifetime value customers. In fact, they're about a quarter of the value, which means on an off season, don't try to mail them. It probably won't work. I'm not saying it won't ever work, but anyway. And Alibaba keeps expanding out of China. Their goal is 2 billion people by 2036, and half of those will be outside of China. So that's kind of cool. Okay, but now I wrote to Alex this morning, and I said, Alex, I'd like to feature your article because He's talking about being a marketer in post-analytics world. And, you know, on one hand, he talks about analytics coming on and more data and doubling every year and all this. And then it's post-analytics. So, but what he means is that, you know, we've got two trends. We've got digital data. We've got data coming. And so everybody wants custom content. And we also want audience-specific optimization, which is ad placement and other features. You know, you want to target each little microsegment. At least that's his theory. Now, having done this for a few decades, I know that there's a trap in this all, which is that just because someone seems to fit doesn't mean they do. Just because you do a drum catalog doesn't mean the drummers will buy drums. They might buy guitars, and vice versa. And we've seen this, I've seen this, like in stark reality. You can never quite anticipate what consumers are going to do next. But expose your creative processes to data analytics. That's right. Now, this was an interesting sentence. He said, the volume of data available in marketing is growing at 2 times the annual clip. The scalability of analytics, therefore, will be just as vital as its accuracy and value. In other words, if I have a big enough bucket of data, then I don't have to worry about accuracy and value. You know, I remember when I got started in marketing, Connie Bauer, PhD professor at Marquette, said, I can do a valid model with 50 customers as long as they're the right customers. There's some wisdom in that. I always teased her about it. Okay, I knew there was an alarm coming somewhere. And with all kinds of new power, this I thought was funny. No longer will you have to be a data scientist to glean meaning from the data. Well, let me put it this way. No longer will you think you need to be a data scientist to think you have meaning from the data. The act of interpreting data and generating insights can and should be more universally shared experience. Yeah, the trouble is that about 90% of the insights you glean are wrong. They're confirmation bias, or data anomalies, or just something weird that isn't repeatable. And because very few data scientists are scientists, and because very few marketers worry about any of this, you don't set up field valid experimentation to isolate causal variables to get to the bottom of the issue. And so what we see today is we see all kinds of analytical tools being used to create all kinds of reports that are drawing wrong conclusions and wrong impressions and taking a company off with a good story into a strategy that is a disaster, like J. Jill and Nordstrom's going into digital whole hog and stopping all their mailings. Okay? Marketers must begin to see analytics as more of a process and a way of thinking. Yeah, and also that you need to validate the stuff. Okay? We validate 5 ways in our modeling, and we still come up with anomalies, and we still get surprises. Okay, here's another interesting report. Marketers and businesses are suffering from data fatigue. Really great study. 75%, and if they have more than 5 platforms, 85% say they spend too much time reporting on marketing performance. Okay? And many tools are designed to take credit for marketing wins, thus creating platform bias. These platforms will not tell you that they're taking credit for everything. Facebook might take credit for a lead because its ad was the last click a customer made before converting, when in reality, the first organic search by the customer did most of the heavy lifting. Absolutely. Attribution is insanity. You don't get to the causal variable. And that's why direct marketing techniques are your only salvation, which marketers aren't even schooled in. You know, I talked to millennials. I did a talk last Thursday, and they said, we haven't learned any of this in marketing, in our grad school marketing courses. Correct, because the professors don't understand it either, and the textbooks on my shelf don't really lay it out very well. Tech platforms won't audit themselves. Even the most helpful solutions can exaggerate their own success. Marketers need a neutral arbiter. You can't find one. There is none. To make sense of data coming from multiple sources. Another point takeaway was 71% of consumers say the option to speak with somebody would increase the likelihood of them using their product. That just stuck in at the end. And let's finish up with this. Okay, here's Tom Fishburne's KPI cartoon. You got all of this graphs and charts and diagrams and all of this stuff. And the marketing guy says, our new dashboard has all of the different KPIs we can track now. What's that KPI down here in the corner? What's that KPI trending to 0? It measures how well we understand them all. Amen, Tom Fishburne. We're working in the golden age of metrics. Oops, I gotta go because we're working in the golden age of metrics. But the explosion of available data and metrics can give us KPI tunnel vision. I had a friend who flew A-6 aggressor bombers in the Navy, and he said, what kills Navy pilots is focusing on one instrument. Okay? Sky found it was tracking 2,000 KPIs across their business, leading to short-termism and disjointed marketing. And the fact is, just like with enough data, you'll get some correlation. With enough KPIs, you'll get something good to point out. I can tell you that with absolute assurance. Narrow down what you're looking at, narrow your focus, but most of all, validate. If you don't know a direct marketing guy, and I would say someone who grew up in the 80s where we actually knew how to test something. Data science is about testing, isolation of causal variables, and verification, knowing something for sure. I'm John Miglosh. Have a great day. Like and share.